Hello, I'm Brian Wilford, Member of Parliament for Richmond Hill, and this is MP Report. This week I had the opportunity to meet with a Chinese delegation who was here for the 40th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Canada and the People's Republic of China. This delegation was headed by Mr. Hugh, who is head of the Foreign Affairs Committee. And what's very important is that we had an opportunity to discuss issues regarding human rights in China. Of course, the recent Nobel Prize winner who received that at the expense in many ways of the Chinese government. The Chinese government was not very happy with the awarding of the Nobel Peace Prize. But clearly there is a debate going on in the Chinese Communist Party with regard to the democratization of the party. And I wrote a piece this week to send to the Xinhua News Agency in Beijing to outline my views about the more progressive approach taken by Premier Wen versus more hardline conservatives, including the Vice President, Mr. Xi, who is pegged to be the next president of China after the 2012 Party Congress. This opportunity was also to discuss issues regarding trade and investment. And obviously from a Canadian standpoint, we want to continue to further relations with the People's Republic of China, but at the same time to point out issues with regard to human rights, obviously concerns about Chinese naval activities in the South China Sea. And this was a great opportunity for myself and for other colleagues to interact with this delegation. I also had the opportunity this week to attend the International Diplomats Ball. I was asked to be one of the co-chairs of this. This is a first. This international ball brought diplomats, members of parliament, members of the business community together. And it was to raise money for needy families of the Canadian Forces, and also for scholarships for the boys and girls of those families. And I think it's an extremely worthwhile cause. It was modeled after the President's diplomatic ball in Washington, D.C. And I want to congratulate Mr. Gupta, who was the organizer of this event. This was very important to bring the business community together, particularly who sponsored significant prizes for the scholarships. And this gave us an opportunity to mingle and to talk about some of those issues in which obviously families want to support our men and women who are in Afghanistan and around the world, and obviously for their children for post-secondary education. So that was very helpful. Also this week, the National Defense Committee, of which I'm the Vice Chair, continues to talk about the issue of the F-35 fifth generation aircraft. And of course, the government had announced a $9 billion plus other costs, up to $16 billion for these 65 fighter aircraft. This was a sole source tendering. And obviously, we have concerns about that, clearly because it was sole source, and also because the question is this the aircraft we need for the next generation, for the Canadian North, in particular for Canadian sovereignty? And so those discussions are continuing. I would point out to you that we had sent in June our recommendations on Arctic sovereignty, and I had spearheaded that particular report. The government has just announced its response to our recommendations. And next week we will go through those recommendations and we will see where the government has come down on them and where we need to respond to them, because obviously the Arctic, whether it is on the natural resource issues, whether it's on sovereignty issues, whether it's habitat issues, we need to make sure that we have an effective voice and the effective tools to deal with that. So as you're a member of Parliament for Richmond Hill, I can tell you we're continuing to send out lots of newsletters. In fact, for the month of October, we've sent out 8 newsletters. The response newsletters, of course, are both to educate, to inform, and whether it is on a particular issue or whether it's a bill before the House of Commons or an organization. We appreciate your feedback. Until next time, this is Brian Wilford saying thank you for watching.